You are listening to Fantha Tracks.
Because of the following special program, Wonder Woman and the Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
I got Bantha.
It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file.
That doesn't sound too hard.
Boom! This is Making Tracks.
This is the way.
Here are your hosts, Mark Newbold and Mark Mulcaster.
I know these people. They are brutal. Does this look Jedi to you?
That's not how the Force works.
They'll never see it coming.
Count me in.
Lisa back.
You're listening to Making Tracks and a very special live episode. We're sitting in the foyer of the Hilton Metropole in Birmingham, where Starfury Invasion was supposed to take place. It's not taking place. You're listening to FanthaFury, and I'm joined by some very special guests.
Hello, this is Richard from Fantha Tracks.
I'm Paul from Fantha Tracks. I'm Brian from Good Morning Tatooine. I'm Paul from Good Morning Tatooine.
Nice pivot. And Mark Mulcaster, my co-host, is not here at the moment.
He's gone for a wee.
He's gone for a wee. Well, he says he's gone for a wee. I'm hoping he's gone for a wee. You never heard that. That was off mic. And we are going to talk about all sorts of stuff. We've actually worked out a list of things to talk about.
We have.
Like a proper episode. But before Mark comes back, I've got to say, it's always great to see you, Rich, joining us on the show. Paul, have you ever been on Making Tracks before?
I think I have, yes. I think I have made the odd occasional when we've been doing interviews and stuff.
Yes, we do have many of your interviews recorded previously in other locations.
Yeah.
But Brian, we've never had you on Making Tracks.
Not with my permission.
Well, there is that. And here comes Mark. Mark, we've saved you a problem. Take a seat. Welcome to your own show.
Brilliant. I was going to take a selfie first.
Let's do that.
Yes.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is great for podcasts.
Are we all in this? Hey!
Perfect. You'll see that picture, I'm sure, somewhere. Yes, Mark, we've saved you the hassle of having to work out an intro for the episode.
I don't know what's taking the lead.
Pass him the mic.
The mic. Yeah, remember, any more than 3 shakes?
He was taking the lead. We can confirm Mark was taking the lead.
Yeah, you can tell because my hands are wet.
My prediction was wrong.
That's true.
Are you recording?
I'm recording, dude.
Excellent.
Look
Brilliant.
at this.
Well, there
One
you go.
take.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Making Tracks. Hey.
Filmed in front of a live studio.
That's it.
So basically we are here at the Hilton Metropole for what was meant to be a Starfury weekend. However, it's not. And so we are joined by people who clearly have absolutely nothing better to do on a weekend when it's beautifully sunny outside. And obviously staring and nodding across the table from me, it's Mr. Mark Newbold. How you doing, Mark?
No edits. I'm fine. I'm not knocked at all. I'm good. I'm really pleased we're here because it would have been a travesty not to make the most of this weekend. And, of course, the air conditioning.
Absolutely.
Goodness knows. It's a bit warm.
I'm here for the air conditioning.
So this is Making Tracks, and this is Making Tracks Live, but it is also FanthaFury, a concept created entirely by Brian Cameron. Brian, give me a hint, give me a sense of the instigation and really the fury behind the creation of FanthaFury.
Well, obviously the event was cancelled very late notice. We're not really clear on why, because the statement was a little bit open, shall we say. Uh-huh. So it could be a very legitimate reason. So can we be too critical? But if you're cancelling your event 36 hours before the day the event starts, you haven't left too many wiggle room for people to get refunds or make alternative plans, etc. So the likes of me was left considerably out of pocket because you've got flights, hotel, car parking, restaurant bookings, all the things you do when you're going to a convention, down the pan to keep the toilet relevant to the conversation. So yeah, you're not happy about it. A little bit element of unprofessionalism to cancel it so late in the day.
Can't argue with that. But we are here.
We are here.
This is FanthaFury. we have topics to talk about.
Well, no,
Mark.
you have topics because you've got the clipboard.
Well, okay.
I've not even seen the show notes.
I do have the Well, this will be a wonderful journey of discovery for all
like
of
a
us.
typical episode of Making Tracks.
Pretty much.
Oh, tell me about it.
This is the Fantha Tracks Making Tracks GMT crossover that's been promised since Japan. I'm very pleased to have you both here.
It's like a very own version of Avengers Doomsday.
Should we start with the first news item?
Go on then, let's do it.
Go on then. This is brand new. This is new news, or at least as we speak. Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. It was nominated at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival. And it is a show that was running, because we are now in the past as we speak, from the 21st to the 27th of June. Nominated in the Best Film TV category. But my main point is, and this is to all of you, so I shall come to you all individually, Maul Shadow Lord, it was a little bit different. It wasn't your normal Star Wars animation fare. And you made a great point about how, with Mando and Grogu coming out so close to Shadow Lord, that it maybe never got the time that it deserved and the time in the Star Wars spotlight that it deserved. So I will turn to you first, Richard. There you go, you've got a mic. We were sat together at Japan when they showed the trailer for the very first time, when Filoni and I think Matt Michnovetz and Athena Portillo came out and Sam Witwer came out and they did the whole thing. So we were excited a year plus ago. What did you make of the show when it came out?
I thought it was excellent. Like saying, from even just from seeing the trailer, if you want to call it a trailer, what you see at Japan, you knew it was going to be good just from that. But better than expectations, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
no, you're not wrong. The visuals were incredible and the story was engaging. Brian, I know you're not a massive fan of animation, but you did talk about this show on Good Morning Tatooine. So what did you make of it? Given that you're not an animation fan?
Not an animation fan, so I don't know a lot of the backstory of Maul. As far as I was concerned, he was dead. But a little bit like Andy Burnham, King of the North, coming back to be Prime Minister. You've got Darth Maul came back, and it was decent, bit of lack purpose, bit like Andy Burnham.
What did you make of the animation itself?
I thought more of the landscapes was really nice and really well done. There's obviously been a lot of thought gone into the overall look. I didn't like the design for Maul. I thought he was a little bit thin about the face. Because I'm not saying he was a fat face kind of guy, but he was a bit more rounded. It was good. Voice was good. It was good. It's about as probably a higher praise for animation as you'll get out of me.
We'll take that. Quick question, though. I think that you look at the animation version of Maul, and to me, it looks more like Sam Witwer than he looks like Ray Park. So I don't know whether there's a long-term plan going on there. But Paul, what did you make of it? I know you're more into the animation than Brian.
Yeah, I think what I liked about it more than anything else was that you could tell that what had originally been a director that worked purely in animation had now gone to live action.
Yeah.
It kind of brought a bit of that to it. So the direction of some of the scenes was more dynamic than perhaps it would have been previously. So for me, that's what I got from it. Some of the pivots in the shots and the way that they followed different elements when there were ships coming over and different landscapes. I just thought that it just brought something a little bit more realism to the animation.
Understood. I think vocally it felt more like a live action show than a lot of animation, and you're talking about the direction, the way they move the camera and everything felt like that. We talked about this on the Action Chat, obviously, but now that it's award season's coming and you're already starting to see more cropping up, we should be seeing more of these kind of things, shouldn't we?
I hope so, yeah. I mean, you think about it, like the show's only been out a couple of months, so the fact that they managed to squeak this in for like nominations and considerations and being shortlisted and what have you for an award show so early on is quite remarkable.
Has it been listed in specific categories? Because what I would say is the sound palette, I don't know if that's the correct term for it, but the sound on the animation was phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a good shout. We put a piece on Fantha with David Collins actually talking about the Skywalker sound work on that. Yeah, it was at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival, and it was nominated in the TV films category. So I think they mean TV and films rather than TV films. But yeah, you're right. I think when they come to children's Emmy Awards and Golden Globes and stuff like that, you've got to think that it's going to be certainly those
shoe-in,
yeah. Even for a cartoon, there's technical categories, isn't there? It feels like it's a hot pick for that
as well, and it's lovely. And when you compare that to the Mandalorian Grogu soundtrack, which I was really looking forward to, I didn't think that was all that.
That's an interesting point. You've seen, Richard. Go on, there's a mic there. You've seen
mic again.
the score of More Shadow Lord compared to the score for Mando and Grogu. Apples and oranges, I know.
On the spot, yeah. There was weird things in the Mandalorian Grogu sound. You call it soundtrack or not? I don't know how to put it. They weren't. They didn't feel Star Warsy.
Yeah.
So but the Maul does.
Yeah.
And it fits in a way you don't notice it, but it's in the background and it flows with it.
Yes.
So you don't notice it. Whereas certain things in Mandalorian and Grogu stuck out that didn't fit.
Yeah. There's that. I mean, you're right. There's that piece, and there's the music in the food truck, which we didn't realise was the food truck music that plays over the end credits. So what the this?
So like, and then we're sat there watching the end credits, going, "What the hell is this?" Kind of like chintzy, kind of like And then when you hear it, when you go and watch it again, you go, "Oh, well, that's diegetic music." So it's in there. But I mean, I suppose that's the difference. You've got like with More Shadow Lord, you've got the Kleiners. So you've got Kevin Kline and his two offspring working together. And Kevin's done every animation series since Clone Wars, and he's well steeped in not only understanding how to score these shows, but also like how to work in John Williams motifs when you need them and then when to pull back and that. Whereas I think I wouldn't be surprised if Ludwig Göransson just was given kind of like carte blanche for this one, just kind of go right, go and have fun with it, as they tend to say when they don't really know what they need to direct the creative to do.
Yeah, I enjoyed the score. There's some good stuff in it. It's a big orchestra. It's more going on, but I don't think it'll be put up for an Oscar for the pure reason that the score is already existing. It's an adaptation of a score. It's not. It's just if he was scoring this for the TV episodes, it would be the same kind of thing.
One thing that I noticed was that a lot of those action scenes, whereas like with like John Williams and Kevin Kline, you'd have, they'd almost respond to the action. It almost just felt like it was just kind of underscore, just like, we're just going to have a high tempo kind of action kind of like theme over this without any kind of real specific interaction with the action on what's actually happening on the screen. Yeah. So it felt, as you said, Rich, bit disjointed. Mr. Naylor.
Yeah, I mean, me and Rich were both well into our synth music, but I just thought the use of it in Mando was just a bit out of place. It just didn't feel right. I mean, you're big into your Pet Shop Boys. I like the Pet Shop Boys, bit of Depeche Mode, and you'd think that we'd enjoy hearing a bit of synth music in that movie, but it didn't work for me. Whereas I thought that the Maul animated series, the music, I mean, there were sort of hints and nods back to the classic Maul soundtrack, but it worked far better than Mando did.
Hi, this is Maria Sandoval, head hairstylist for the Star Wars universe, and you're listening to Fantha Tracks.
So staying on the topic of The Mandalorian and Grogu, the art of Mando and Grogu, final cover was revealed. It comes out on the 3rd of November 2026, written by author Phil Sostak, 256 pages. It's $49.45, which probably means it's 50 quid in English money. I'm curious from Abrams again. Sostak does loads of books and there's loads more coming. There's the Ahsoka 2 book coming. The Andor book has just come out. I'm just curious now the film is out. You've seen it 10 times. I've seen it 4 times. We've all seen it more than once. Is there an interest? Is there an excitement to go and delve into the designs? Because I think it might be one of those films that there's missing stuff out there more than is in the film. There's probably stuff they're hinting at that we never got to see.
I know they could let us know Rot the Hutt's opinion on his father. There should become some clarity there. I'm interested in the design process for the Hutts because a lot of them look quite significantly different from previous incarnations, if you stick to the live action like I do. And I quite actually thought it worked very well, especially the fighting scenes. If you told me I'd be watching 2 Hutts wrestling and it would look good, I wouldn't have believed you before the film, but it did look good. So I'm interested to see the design process behind them.
And to have 3 Hutts wrestling is even better.
Exactly, I know. It's like probably triple threat, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, for me, I think I'm quite curious to see like how much of that droid Gotra design was actually from 1313, and how much of this was kind of like we're going to just take their idea, but we're going to kind of like do our own designs for the droids, because they were quite unique in their own respects.
Yes, absolutely. Rich, what do you make of that? I mean, any time you dive in.
What Mark just said there, the droids, people listening to that most, I'm more the figure collector here from everything. So seeing that they've taken bits from different droids of that, which could be done the same with the figures, and how they've made new droids that you do spot things that together, but are there more that you didn't see, and where the ideas come from doing that? Like saying, hopefully that shows more of that in the book.
It's a good shout, Paul. You know, we're going to get to see stuff. We're going to get to see behind the scenes imagery, pre-production artwork, which is a different beast to the Macquarie days. But you know, you're looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am. But it's weird because these days, because there's so much Star Wars content released throughout a year, it always feels like this is too late.
Yeah.
I think the marketing back in the days of the original trilogy, where you would get stuff leaked out. You know, when I say leaked out, I mean released just prior to the film. Like I can certainly remember having the Red Return of the Jedi storybook before the film actually came out.
Yeah, true.
But they would have sold oodles more of this book had it have come out a month ago. 100%.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's going to struggle because there's a bit of negativity towards it. I don't think that's right, but there is negativity towards it now. So they would have sold way more 6 weeks ago.
But we were saying how they don't do adaptations of the films anymore, which is, it seems insane to me. That why wouldn't you? When great example, 27 years ago when Phantom Menace came out, and the day of release, you get the art of. You get the audio book, you get the novel.
You probably would have got the sticker book out.
Yep, the first wave of figures, CD, which, gives away Qui-Gon's noble end, but there you go. I think we're over that by now. But, it was a great marketing tool. Not that Phantom particularly needed it, but to get people to the cinema. Now, I don't know what, is it rights and licenses? Is it? I don't know what makes them want to wait a year.
It's in all parts of the things that people collect, be it action figures, books, music, whatever. It all comes out too long after the film's actually been released.
I just think it's they just don't want to let any of this stuff out. They just don't want to leak it, and that's the thing, isn't it? They're so worried now about stories and stuff kind of coming out and people knowing everything before the film gets released, that actually, they're holding all that stuff back.
And they could control the narrative if they wanted to.
Totally.
It'll be interesting to see if some of the artwork isn't actually from the Mandalorian Grogu, but actually from Del Toro's Hut movie that was developed but not released.
He gets the thank you in the credits.
He does, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, would they admit to that?
I mean, they own it. I mean, it's like the Underworld scripts, isn't it? They own it all.
Yeah, and I think they've been fairly kind of open about like his involvement to some extent, and that in some of the kind of like the press.
I think Favreau mentioned it, didn't he?
Yeah. So, and actually, I think when you go back, sometimes in these art-off books, they do kind of like let slip who's may have influenced like a certain scene or directed something that hasn't necessarily been credited.
For everything in one location, daily news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, video and social media feeds, bookmark FanthaTracks.com for Star Wars news 24/7, 365.
Next topic of conversation. We're here in Birmingham at what would have been Starfury Invasion, which is now, of course, FanthaFury. Can't you feel the rage? We're not going to bash on about that because there's an episode of Good Morning Tatooine that you can listen to that will do that perfectly well. But I mean, this weekend we would have been seeing Felicity Jones, John Boyega, Genevieve O'Reilly, Denise Goff, Alistair McKenzie, and Pierre O'Neill me, and I think as well Anton Lesser was never officially properly announced like others were, but I believe he was supposed to be coming as well. We are still together and we're still doing stuff and we're going to have a great weekend. But of those people that was due to come, and I'll do a roundtable thing here. Rich, who are you looking forward to seeing? You don't have to name one. You can name more than one.
Felicity Jones, obviously, but that sounds a bit weird. I had a memory come up on my Facebook this week, which was 9 years ago since I see John Boyega at the Old Vic. 9 years ago. So it was like, oh.
Was that when you got your picture with Kathleen Kennedy as well?
I won't say about that, but brag about that. But yeah, don't want to brag. But yes, it was the same night, yes. So it was like, oh. And when you get these things that come on Facebook, oh, what were you doing 9 years ago? And it's like, oh, maybe I could have got a second picture to compare.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think all the guests, well, they're all great guests.
Yes.
So I don't think you could really put one above the others. But yeah, it was varied group of guests and all good. So
absolutely, Brian, yourself.
Well, Felicity Jones had a time scheduled to get a photograph with me, so obviously she's missing out. But yeah, I like the Q&As. That's more interesting to me from this event than necessarily the autograph side of it. We'll never know if they like giant-sized ducks or small dinosaurs, and
who would win in a fight?
Yeah, and who would win in a fight, and all other such random questions that get asked. But no, you always get some interesting stories from behind the scenes, and the way that Rogue One came out and the timing of it, it kind of was after a celebration, so it didn't get too much panels and hasn't had many panels since, and justly, I think. And I hope it gets some at Celebration next year, because I know it's the 50th anniversary, but it's also the 10th anniversary of Rogue One next year. It would be really great to see her at a panel in LA. So, yeah, missed out hearing a lot more from her about Rogue One, because I don't think there was too much interview coverage done back when Rogue One came out. So we haven't heard too much about the making of the film.
There's loads of Felicity stories that you'd want to hear. Just to say, Thank the Maker Rogue One is happening on the 17th of October this year. So there is a Rogue One focus show coming up this year, but it's with the crew rather than the cast. But Paul, addressing you directly as a member of a very overlooked minority, that you won't have you won't have the chance to put a question to any of the guests about this fact. But who were you looking forward to seeing the most?
Again, Felicity. But for me, I've always liked the Q&A sessions that they've done at Starfury, because you don't tend to have too many people in the audience anyway, and whether they're shy or what, they won't get up and ask a question. So the opportunity to ask, a major member of the cast of any Star Wars film is always great. It turns out that the newspaper that I used to work at in Wolverhampton, the Express and Star, is where Felicity's mum and dad met. So Felicity's dad was a journalist and Felicity's mum was in the sales department. Now, it's probably 5 to 10 years before I joined the newspaper, but I would have asked her a question about that, and it would have been, I'm sure we would have had quite a nice little chat. So to me, I've missed out on the opportunity of having my own sort of moment with her.
You've not, because Felicity obviously listens to Making Tracks, and she will hear the question.
Yeah, and in fact, she's probably been on more often than Brian.
Anyway, Mark, what were you looking forward to?
Yeah, same, I think, to be fair. Felicity and John as well, just because I think John delivers good energy wherever he goes. But yeah, like you said, the panels are always fun. And what's nice is that they say nobody's recording this, nobody's filming this.
Absolutely.
So it's a kind of a safe space for both, the cast and anybody asking questions like, who's going to win in a fight between Dracula and a werewolf or something, vampire map, so which are things that people need to know the answer to.
Of course they do.
These are burning questions.
They are.
But also, I think the thing is, I think the things with Rogue One was because it was released, let's kind of say, with a bit of a cloud of uncertainty because of the fact there'd been all the reshoots and the rewriting and stuff, the production issues. And it went on to be a massive success. Like you said, I don't think they've had a chance to really celebrate it. But also, you just kind of, when you do get a chance to speak to Felicity, you want to kind of see how much, how much was she aware? When were they told about we're going to have to go back into the studio and do all these rewrites and stuff like that? It'd be interesting to know more about the
where was her character going before the change?
Yeah, exactly. Was there anything there in the original version that she wished was still in the version that we got to see?
Yeah. And she said more than once, like Natalie Portman has said, she'd happily come back as Padme, and Felicity has said she wouldn't mind coming back as Jyn. So I don't know how they could do it. There's always a way around it.
Somehow Jyn also returned.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's the plot hook that'll make it work. But you wonder if they could go back and they could tell some stories from back in the day before Rogue One. Would she want to be involved? How could they make it work? So you're right. Yeah, there's loads of good questions.
I mean, because to be fair, it's one of those things you kind of do wish that, as much as it was bold and big that everybody died in that film, you do kind of go, oh man, it would have been so nice if we had had more episodes or adventures of Jyn and Cassian or something, going forward, even if it's a comic or a book.
But at least with Rogue One, Something's tickled him. At least with Rogue One, they've allowed the characters to have other stories, other comics. There's Marvel stuff coming out at the moment.
Yeah.
There's been books and based around the characters. So at least there's some more additional storytelling going on with those. Mr. Cameron, what?
I just something you said, and I had a very funny response to it, but it's not appropriate for Making Tracks.
Right, Sunday night, 9 o'clock.
Sunday night, GMT.
Next topic. Jurassic World Dominion has passed The Force Awakens as the most costly movie ever, and I definitely want to turn my microphone to my right and ask Brian about this one, because what they're saying is that Force Awakens cost $638.9 million and Jurassic World Dominion has cost $658.8 million. Now, we had a very brief conversation earlier before we started recording, and you went, not so sure about that. So I'd like to hear your opinion as a money guy.
As a money guy, as an accountant who's worked in the film industry, Forbes, the business...
You mean an industry professional?
Yes. Forbes, the business website, cannot read a set of accounts. And
why not?
So basically, keeping it very short, so they're basing it on the fact that in the UK, when you make a film, you typically set up a business, and that business typically will have the costs associated with making that production. Force Awakens was the first project in the UK since Episode 3, made by Lucasfilm, so they set up a new company, Foodles Productions. The costs in Foodles Productions include the setting up of an entire studio. So you've got all the costs of setting up the hair department, the makeup department, and the major costs associated with the droid department and the CNC lathes and machinery, where you're talking millions of expenditure. You're talking 10-year leases for the studios at Pinewood into the tens of millions of pounds. It's ridiculous to look at that set of accounts and say that those are the costs of The Force Awakens. That is Disney's investment into a studio in the UK to allow them to make not just Star Wars films, but Marvel, Disney-branded films for the next 10 years. So looking at that and attributing it to that movie is farcical. The reason it's put through a company in the UK is so they can get the tax credits. And all these costs, they can associate these costs to movie productions in order to get the tax credits. So you'd get 20% off a £1 million CNC lathe. You're going to take that opportunity and put it through the accounts on the Force Awakens project in order to get your tax money back. So the very logic of looking at accounts and saying it's attributed to the film, it's wrong. I could go through every single time they do an article on a film and they try and tell us what the costs of the production are. They're completely wrong. And here's your point, if you don't think I'm right. If that number, as they say, is correct, there's a Foodles Productions Inc. in California in America. The American half of Foodles Productions, whose accounts you don't see. So the costs are actually higher than what you're seeing in the UK accounts. So there's no part of this you can justify but looking at accounts and saying that is the cost of making that film.
That is mind-blowing. Richard, Brian just referred to this as farcical. That's a very strong comment. What are your thoughts?
I think Brian made a very good point there. I think that's all I can say. Yeah, because as people may know, I live near Pinewood. So, like you're saying, the amount of investment that's been put into Pinewood from Disney, because they've basically built a complete new studio there. And if, like you're saying, a lot of that money was attributed to building that company, and it's just put it on the books, like Brian said, as well. We do it for that film, but it's not just that one film that all that money's been put into. Yeah. So yeah,
it's crazy that you set up a creature shop. That's been doing productions on all the other 5 Star Wars movies that were made in that time, and the TV shows, and Willow, and all the other stuff. It just makes me think a bit like, all right, love. It just makes me think a little bit of when we talk Star Trek sometimes. When they try to make a mid-70s TV show called Star Trek, like a sequel series to Star Trek. It's known as Phase 2. And when they made the motion picture, they just merged all the costs of Phase 2 into the motion picture. So that cost $45 million, but in reality, it probably cost $20 million because they were just merging all these costs and trying to lose it in the books. So what do you think of it, Mark? It's incredible numbers when you think 600+ million.
That's a lot. It's a lot of money, isn't it? But like you said, it's hard to then kind of quantify when, to just one film, especially as Force Awakens made how many billions?
2.02, something like that.
Yeah.
So well over 2 billion.
There you go. So they made the money back.
What year did The Force Awakens come out? Was
2015.
So it was made 2014 time period. So you're now, how many years are we on from? 12, 13 years? I should be able to do the maths when I'm talking about numbers. If you look at the current year accounts for Furo Productions UK Limited, it's still got income and expenditure in the multi-millions, because these departments that they created are working on other projects, receiving money for making creatures for other films, not just Disney, not just Lucasfilm, and also ongoing expenses for maintaining this equipment and so on. So unless you can tell me that somehow they're still spending multiple millions making The Force Awakens 13 years after it was in cinemas or produced, you can't read a set of accounts. Go back to school.
Go back to school.
The bigger question is, what the hell has they spent that much money on Jurassic Park for?
Well, that was going to be my point. If this is, if
you've got a 10-year legacy with The Force Awakens and all the setup there, then you spent that much money on one film.
Force Awakens is part 1 of a trilogy.
Yeah.
Jurassic World Dominion is part 3 of a trilogy.
Yeah.
So how are they? I mean, when you read into the wider piece, they're like, there was the COVID issues, so they stopped filming. So they were putting the actors up in the Hilton or Hilton type places, and there were private jets everywhere.
Sure.
So the money would bang up really, really quick. Maybe not to the tune of 658.8 million, but when you think the bottom line is Force Awakens made $2.1 billion, basically 6th highest grossing movie of all time right now. Dominion made just over $1 billion, little bit less. Actually, it's the 61st movie to do $1 billion, and there's only 61 movies to do $1 billion. So it's the one that's at the lowest point of just scraping the billion. So still, obviously, crazy money, but if it did cost 600 million and it only made 1 billion, it didn't make a lot of money.
Fantha Tracks. Hoodoo!
Peter Serafinovich, obviously the original voice of Darth Maul. We're coming back to Maul again. Thank you. And he was speaking recently. He was on Sean Walsh's Class Clown podcast, talking about all sorts of other stuff, and Darth Maul comes up, and this is what Serafinovich said. He said, it was weird, this character Darth Maul, I don't know what I thought. The design of it, I wasn't that into it. When I saw the film, it was the biggest disappointment of my life at that point. No hyperbole there then.
No.
It really was. I mean, have you seen it? It was so exciting just being in it, doing this thing that I thought would be this iconic thing, just unimaginable. I guess it sort of is iconic, he means, I suppose. And the best line he says is, James Earl Jones has got the best voice of any human ever, right, he says, as I turn the page. Then suddenly, there I was with George Lucas, and he was like, well, Peter, you're the new James Earl Jones. And I was like, fucking hell, am I? Then why are you paying me such shit money, George? Which I could completely hear. Serafinovich as Darth Maul. I mean, he's the guy, he's in The Phantom Menace, it's $1 billion movie.
Yeah.
Voice of a generation in that sense. And now, of course, as we've talked earlier about Shadow Lord, you got Sam Witwer is the voice of Maul. Do you think Serafinovich is right to be reacting like this? Because they did bring him back for Solo, but they didn't use him infamously because apparently Lucasfilm employees didn't recognise the voice. They can only hear Sam Witwer in that role now.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that kind of comes back to almost what we're talking about at the start with Maul. Is that really, you like Sam Witwer is intrinsically tied to Maul to the point whereby, they've clearly shifted the design of their character to look more like Sam Witwer to some extent. I mean, let's be fair. He did 2-3 lines?
I was literally still talking, trying to think. The Tatooine is to remote, and yeah, maybe 3 lines.
Yeah. So that that's.
Oh, and then the line they deleted when he gets chopped in half, and he goes, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. Nothing but a flesh wind. Yeah.
I'll be back. Yeah.
Only the reruns. George, to kind of heap that level of pressure is
bit unfounded, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems a bit extreme, doesn't it, really?
It does.
He probably had a couple of hours with him, if that, really? I mean, how many kind of reads is he going to need to do for those lines? I
mean, if it's Stanley Kubrick, 100, but for George, you'd think he'd get there a little bit quicker.
Pretty quick. So.
Paul, what do you make of it now? We've got Whitwer as the voice of Maul. I don't know whether Serafinovich was ever offered the voice of Maul in Clone Wars animation, whether it was something that came to him and he turned it down or what.
No, I don't know either. But I mean, the thing is that the Whitwer's performance it was always and will always be informed by what was done by Peter, because that's the voice of Maul. So he's always had to do his own take on it, but it is certainly an impression of it, if you like. I've never heard the Serafinovich version of Maul in Solo.
No.
And it would be interesting to hear that and do that comparison. I'm not offended either way by which of the actors does the voice, because I think they've both brought a lot to Star Wars anyway. So it's not like I'm not a massive fan of replacing Bail Organa in Andor. I think they could have got away without using Benjamin at all. We could have just had a quote from Bail being read out by somebody else rather than replacing the actor. So for that didn't work for me. Whereas with this, because you've now got two actors that are quite equally established in the role, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I just wonder how Whitwer felt when, after doing Maul in Clone Wars for a couple of seasons, they contact Serafinovich again to do the voice in Solo. Brian, what do you think? I mean, obviously, we're talking animation compared to the real thing, but do you think Serafinovich has got a point?
Should have been Ray Park. No Scotland, no party.
Wow, can't argue with that. No Scotland, no party. That's very, very true. No Boonta, no party, as they're saying for Rebel Scum. Rich, what do you make of it? Are you happy with either voice actor?
Yeah, I think he was okay, because if you've got a character that has been, or anyone say, been cut in half, there's a good chance your voice is going to change anyway. So it doesn't, like Paul said, if you've got a character and they replace him with, and you physically can see the person, replace him with a different actor, that's a bit strange. But voice-wise, yeah. I mean, everyone's voice changes over time anyway.
That's true.
So it's not you suddenly look at it and go, oh, that's not the same person doing the voice. Because you think, voices change.
Yeah,
I've been cut in half.
Who can say that?
I'm gonna sound a bit different and be a bit. So they can use a different person for that voice wise.
They did.
If you change James Earl Jones, no,
agree,
because you know that voice, and Vader hasn't changed, and.
They did it with Boba Fett, didn't they, as well?
That's true.
And they even replaced.
I've come up with a perfect compromise though.
Yeah.
When Maul's legs come back, they can be voiced by Peter Serafinovich.
Absolutely, yeah.
That would work.
That would suggest that he's talking out his arse.
Well, there you go. Right, I think that's all we've got for this episode of Making Tracks.
We need some more drinks.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, it's been fun.
This has been a lot of fun. First FanthaFury focused episode. It won't be the last.
No.
And I'll see you again for the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whenever that is. I'm sure we'll figure something out.
We've got an episode of Across the Space Whale Pond to record before that.
Next week, yes.
Show, so that's happening next.
Yeah, and we're attending, there's a few of us attending Force Fest tomorrow in Cheltenham.
Tonight from Jonathan Hipkiss when we see his comedy show.
Wouldn't that be fun? Yes, that's a good idea. Yeah. Definitely. Brilliant.
He's picked some really obscure characters and places for his...
Well, Brian's going to shout out Andy Burnham, we know that. So.
It's been very nice after 3,161 days to be invited onto the show, and I hope it's not that long before I'm invited back.
I think it will be.
I think one of the settings that we need to throw out to Jonathan is the cancelling of a con.
Ouch. Controversial. But very topical.
Email radio@FanthaTracks.com. Head to links.FanthaTracks.com for links to our social media feeds, Fantha Tracks TV and Fantha Tracks Radio. Thanks to James Semple for the Fantha Tracks intro, Blues Harvest for our Making Tracks opening music, and Mark Daniel and Vanessa Marshall for our voiceovers. New episodes drop Tuesdays and Fridays at 7 o'clock UK time. Our weekly news show Good Morning Tatooine goes live Sundays at 9 o'clock UK time on Facebook and YouTube. And remember, Fantha Tracks is absolutely free, so it costs nothing to stay updated on all the latest Star Wars news.
And on that note, we'll see you next time.
May the Force be with you.
Coming up next on Fantha Tracks Radio, it's Start Your Engines.